Hi guys, welcome to another live to another video. In this video we're going to be talking about divorce. Anything that has to do with divorce and what does the Bible say about marriage? Well, not about marriage. I'm not going to be talking about marriage in full, but I'm just going to be talking about divorce and adultery basically. So we're going to be reading Matthew chapter 5, verse 27 and on. So it says, adultery. You have heard that it was said, you shall not commit adultery, right? We know that adultery is whenever you're married and you basically cheat on your partner with another person physically, right? You sleep with them or you kiss them. And it says, you shall not, these are Jesus Christ's words. So he said, you shall not commit adultery. But I tell you that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with her in his heart. So basically Christ is telling us that we have heard when people says, you should not commit adultery, right? Because it's something bad. It's cheating on your partner, cheating on the trust that they gave you. But Christ tells us that anyone who looks at a woman lustfully has already committed adultery with their heart. So basically there's a lot of people could say, oh yeah, I mean, if you look at someone and you think that they're cute and you want to sleep with them or you want to kiss them, but I mean, you keep those thoughts to yourself because you're married or you're in a relationship, you're not doing nothing wrong because you didn't do anything. You didn't cheat. You just thought of it, right? But thinking of that, you already committed adultery with your heart. You already cheated your partner with your heart, right? It says, so Christ tells us, if your right eye causes you to stumble, gouge it, take it off, and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than for your whole body to be thrown into hell. And if your right hand causes you to stumble, cut it off and throw it away. It is better for you to lose one part of your body than your whole body to go into hell. And now let's talk about divorce because we already spoke about adultery. We're going to keep speaking about adultery. But there's something that he says in verse 31st of chapter 5 that it's very important. It says, it has been said, anyone who divorces his wife must give her a certificate of divorce, right? A letter of divorce, basically, like the divorce papers. But what does God tells us about divorce? What does Christ tells us? He says, but I tell you that anyone who divorces his wife, except for sexual immorality, makes her the victim of adultery. So basically, anyone who divorces his wife except for sexual immorality, Christ is telling us that the only reason that you should get divorced, it's by sexual immorality. So for example, if one of them, man or women, they were adulterers, right? If they cheated, if the man cheated on his wife, or if the wife cheated on her husband, sorry. So basically, if any of them cheated on each other, they are allowed to divorce, basically. But any other reason, you cannot divorce. You cannot divorce your wife or your husband because you don't like them anymore, because you don't love them anymore, because you don't like them physically. You know, a lot of us women, when we get pregnant, our body changes. So a lot of men, they're like, oh yeah, I don't like my wife's body anymore. I don't like my wife anymore, so I'm just gonna divorce her, which is so unfair, right? And Christ doesn't accept divorce. If you're a Christian and you are thinking of divorcing, don't do it, because you're not following God's commands, right? It's very important, unless has been adultery between each partner, right? If one of them cheated, or even because of fornication. For example, if you married someone and you were in love and they said they were a virgin, right? And then at the end, you figure out that they weren't. They basically fornicated with another person. They lied to you. You can divorce because it's cheating on you as well, right? If you were married to them, right? And well, basically it says, let's say if you get divorced, if you're a man, you are going to that's going to be your responsibility if you're a man and if you divorce. Because it says, any man who divorces his wife makes her the victim of adultery. And anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. So basically, if you divorce your wife, God gave you your wife so you can protect her, right? You are the man, you're the head of the household, you should protect your wife. You are the leader, right? And if your wife commits any sin, it's your fault because you're not taking good care of her, right? This sin is gonna fall into you. So if you divorce your wife and if she commits adultery because of this, it's gonna be your fault. And if a woman commits adultery because of you, because you guys divorced, it's gonna be the man's fault. The sin of adultery will fall into the husband, right? The husband will have to pay for that sin. Well, yeah, basically, right? It's like, I don't know if you guys can understand what I'm trying to say, but how can a woman commit adultery once she's divorced? Well, here it says in verse 32, I believe. This is so small. Yeah, verse 32. At the end of verse 32, it says, anyone who marries a divorced woman commits adultery. If you divorce your wife and she goes on and marries another man, they're both, even though they're married and they're legally divorced, they're both, though this new partner in her new marriage, it's not a real marriage on the eyes of God, right? In front of the eyes of God. It's basically adultery. They're committing adultery. So basically your wife is committing adultery with her new husband, because the real husband and the only husband, it was you, right? So this is very important to think of this. If you're going through something hard in your marriage, you should always trust God and pray God to fix any problems. And it says in verse 33, again, you have heard that it was said to the people long ago, do not break your oath, but fulfill to the Lord the vows you have made. But I tell you, do not swear an oath at all, either by heaven, for it is God's throne, or by earth, for it is his footstool, or by Jerusalem, for it is the city of the great king. And do not swear by your head, for you cannot make even one hair white or black. All you need to say is simple yes or no. Anything beyond this comes from the everything beyond this comes from the evil. So God is saying, do not break your oath. Okay, do not break your oath. And when you married someone, you're making an oath. Marriage is an oath. You're promising in front of God that you're going to be with this person through thick, through thin. So it's very important to keep our promise. And it says God tells us, do not break your oath. And if you're not sure, it says, all you need to say is simple yes or no. If you're not sure, that's something between a yes and a no. That's a maybe, right? And God says anything beyond yes or no comes from the evil one, comes from the enemy. So if you're between a yes and a no, if you just say yes to a no in front of the altar when you're about to get married, and you say yes even though you're not feeling it and you're not sure, and probably you're thinking about, if this doesn't work out, I'm gonna get divorced later on. That's not good. That comes from the enemy because you're not sure. And anything that's between a yes, like a for sure, and a no, no, that's just that comes from the enemy. So you have to keep an eye on that. So that's everything for this video. I hope you guys like this video. I loved talking to you guys about divorce, and I hope you guys learn more in the Bible about divorce. And I hope you guys learn more in the Bible about divorce. God bless you all and have a great week.